Holy cow, we are so up right now.
Yeah, we yelling at the screen every Sunday night. Talk slick, throw the remote, we just want it right. Front office tripping, man, they can't get it right. Whole city heated, but we still gon' fight. We talking Bulls trade, biz drafts, missed calls, club slump, soft rebuild. We seen it all. Yeah, we loud, yeah, we gritty. I'm a little frustrated, but I still love my city. Yeah, north side, south side, west, we united.
Welcome back to Holy Cow, the baseball show of the baseball team of Chicago here at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Listen, everybody is pumped right now. Cubs Nation is on one. Cubs Nation is on 100. The Cubs are now 46-38, 8 games over 500. Thanks to a big series win at Wrigley North in Milwaukee. Like I said, 8 games over 500, 46-38, barreling down on 50 wins. Now, I was mad in the last episode about how we did not capitalize on that 21-game stretch of playing bum teams, how the deficit between the Cubs and the Brewers remained at 6.5 since June 2nd to where we are coming into this series. But we come out of this series cutting into that deficit. You can do no better than to beat the Ops in their ballpark from 6.5 to 5.5, and we are right there in striking distance. With more than 75 games left on the schedule, we are in the mix for the division crown. Even better, if the season happened to end today for whatever reason, but just for talking purposes, the Cubs are in a wild card spot. They are going to the playoffs. Taking 2 out of 3 from the Ops in their building at Wrigley North, as I said, is a big statement. The vibes in Cubs Nation are off the charts right now because you saw the last episode. I didn't have much belief that we can do it with all the injuries we had coming into this series, facing the Miz, facing Harrison. They're best pitchers on the mound. We coming in bullpen games, coming in with guys we just traded for days before, and the team. How was the offense going to take care of business against the Miz and all these other guys and all the other Hawthorne players that the Brewers got in a ballpark that doesn't give up a lot of home runs? How are we going to do it? No matter how, you just get it done. Grit, grind. Shout out to the Detroit Lions because the Cubs had to borrow that for this weekend. That's how they won this series. They grinded it out Sunday. They gritted it out Saturday by thumping them. And to be honest with you, on Friday against the Miz, they held their own. The Cubs had the lead in the 6th inning. Colin Ray stood toe-to-toe with old boy. They saying Mizorowski had threw the hardest pitch in Major League Baseball in that game. The Cubs were unfazed by it. In the last episode, I was down because of that 21-game stretch. The Cubs can only go 12-9 over that time period. But which included them going 10-3 in the last 13. How about this? The last 16 games since June 11th, the Cubs are 12-4. I like that stretch. I will stick with that one. They are flipping the narrative. The narrative that the team was carrying for them since May 7th, since that sweep of the Cincinnati Reds, that the Cubs were just inept with the bats, inept with the runners in scoring position, and pitchers falling like flies, flipping the narrative the last 12. This is a brand new ball game right now, brand new season, and a lot of things can happen. Let's go. Let's get right into it. So Friday night was a tough one. Cubs lost 6-2. The reason why they lost, it's not on Colin Ray. It was on the bullpen. Colin Ray was outstanding. He was nails. He stood toe-to-toe with Mizorowski. He threw 5 shutout innings. He was pitch for pitch with old boy Jacob Mizorowski. 5 shutout innings. Cubs actually had, like I said, the Cubs actually had a 1-0 lead in the 5th inning. Seiya Suzuki put one in the seats right there in right center. But the moment Ray was pulled in the 6th inning is when it all fell apart. Ethan Roberts came into the game. He gave up a 2-run home run to Garrett Mitchell and then a triple to David Hamilton. It was a 3-run inning for the Brewers, for the Beer Boys, as soon as Colin Ray left the game. The bullpen completely exploded. imploded rather, and the offense couldn't muster up more than 3 hits all night. Saturday, though, beautiful. Bounce back. The Cubs bounced back and they pounded the Beer Boys 8-2. Offense ambushed Cal Harrison out the gate. He entered the game 8-1. Says Suzuki once again, he likes playing in Milwaukee. He hit a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. Nico Horner, he had a clutch RBI single in the 6th inning. Ian Happ, I'm in the car listening to the game on 670. I, when Ian Happ hit that home run, I was banging my steering wheel. I was so pumped up at that moment. Broke the game wide open. 3-run home run to make it 6-2. The offense was relentless. Bullpen, Tyler Ferguson, Jacob Webb, Trent Thornton, Vince Velasquez. They threw 3 1/3 of scoreless innings just to lock it down. Sunday rubber match. This is where everybody was pumped up here. If you saw the end of that game with the 5-4-3 to end the game, and you saw all the Cub fans taking over Wrigley North, and you saw the elation, the jubilation coming out of the dugout on this thing, the vibes are high. This was a big moment for this game. When the book is written on the 2026 Cubs, this is going to be in there. I don't know how it's going. I don't know what the ending of the story is going to be. I can tell you what I want it to be. But this moment was a big moment. ESPN 1670, all the Chicago shows are going to be talking about this game for the next couple of days. Even though the Cubs of the Padres up starting Monday. But we'll talk about that later. Sunday's game, 10-inning thriller. It ended 4-3 with the Cubs winning, flying the W. It was a pure bullpen game for the Cubs. Ryan Rollison opened it up, and Craig Counsell, he made the decision to keep him in there. One batter too long. He gave up a solo home run to Gary Sanchez, and the marquee, the cameras had it. The cameras went right to him as soon as the home run was given up. Cameras went right to Craig when the home run was given up, and he had it on his face. He was pissed off that he didn't pull him, and it is what it is. But it's only a solo home run. If your team can erase one run, then it didn't win. You didn't deserve to win nowhere. But the Pen, they locked it down after that. Cubs tied it at 1 in the 7th when Ian Happ scored on a wild pitch. In the 10th inning, the Cubs showed more discipline. Michael Busch drew a bases loaded walk to give them the lead. So the first 2 runs the Cubs scored in this game were all on goofs from the Beer Boys. After that bases loaded walk, Seiya Suzuki, once again, he came up 2-run single from him to make the game 4-1. The bottom of the 10th was shaky, to say the least. I was going to be so mad if the Cubs blew this game in the 10th inning. It was headed that way. I would have drank the water out of Chicago River if they did that. Just end it right now. Just end me right now. Ethan Roberts, he was terrible once again. He let the Brewers score 2 runs, but Jordan Wicks was out of the majors. Cubs had him down in the minors, called him up just because we need live bodies. Called him up, and he came in with the bases loaded, no outs. They had already scored a run, and he got out of it. A fly out to shallow left to Ian Happ, and Ian Happ held the runner at third. He was on his toes with that one. And then after that fly out, 5-4-3 double play to end the game from Gary Sanchez. A huge reason the Cubs won this series was a performance of these new pitchers. Jordan Wicks, to say the least. He was probably the player of the game for Sunday, but David Peterson. The Cubs traded for him in the last series against the Mets, who his former team was the Mets. He was just acquired for a prospect. I think he was the 13th prospect in the 13th rated prospect in the Cubs system, Cole Mathis. David Peterson made his Cub debut on Saturday, and he was everything that the Cubs needed. 5 2/3, allowing just 5 hits and 2 runs while giving up no free passes. Then on Sunday, Bryce Wilson, a guy the Cubs just claimed off waivers, was an unsung hero in the middle of a desperate bullpen game. Wilson chewed up 4 1/3 of scoreless innings, struck out 4, no free passes once again. Nails. The Cubs needed these guys to step up because the injury list is catastrophic. I think they currently have 12 pitchers on the IL, 12, including 6 relievers. And in this weekend, he had to send Hobie Milner and Phil Maton, send them to the IL. I think the Cubs have now had over 20 people with different IL stints this season so far. We have not reached 90 games yet, and that number is unbelievable. Ben Brown, imaging showed a stress reaction to his C5 vertebrae. It's going to require zero activity for about a month. So I think the chances of seeing him back in the starting rotation are very slim. He's probably going back to the pen if he can come back. They're saying there's a plan for him to make a return this season. Fingers crossed on that. We've heard that before. Hobie Milner, I said he had to go to the IL too. He had to take an Uber to the ER while in Milwaukee early Saturday morning for an emergency appendectomy. I don't think I need to say emergency there. I think any appendectomy is an emergency. It might be a turn of phrase, but anyway, he's out. Going to be out. He's going to be out for 6 weeks. Just put that out there. Phil Maton, he's been injured all season because he's pitched like it. Him going to the IL is probably an improvement for this team, but I probably don't want to speak that into existence because we still do need people to actually pitch. Even if they're pitching bad, we still need people to pitch. And Phil Maton does pitch bad. But he's going back to the IL with a knee injury, probably a fake IL stamp, but I don't know. Don't care. Justin Steele, Cade Horton, Eric Cabrera, those first 2 guys at least have been gone all season. Eric Cabrera, steady up, steady hurt. It is a miracle. This pitching staff is surviving. Not only pitching staff, this team, 8 games over 500 with 20 different IL stats. Come on, man. If nothing else, this team is resilient. Best and worst of this series, you got to start right there with Seiya Suzuki. Big hits every game. Homered on Friday against a 105-mile-per-hour fastball. He turned around a 105-mile-per-hour fastball and put it in the seats. Take that. 2-run home run on Saturday, and he had the game-winning 2-run single with the bases loaded in the 10th inning on Sunday. He is finally hitting with runners in scoring position, and his elite timing is carrying the team right now. On Friday, he was 1 for 2 with a home run and a sac fly. Saturday, he was 2 for 5 with that included a 2-run home run. Sunday, the biggest hit of the game, biggest hit of the series. Clutch, 2-run single, bases loaded in the 10th inning to get the Cubs the lead that they did not surrender. He's improving with runners in scoring position. I mean, he has a recent grand slam. He had Sunday's game when he had the clutch 2-hit single in the extra innings. His timing and mechanics are improving. He's hitting with excellent rhythm. And to his credit, Suzuki has admitted that in the past, he would sometimes try to do too much at the plate, and it would cause him to swing late or lose his timing. Right now, he's displaying excellent plate discipline. He's waiting for his pitch, like PCA when PCA was hot all month, waiting for his pitch. And he's keeping his mechanics quiet until it's time to explode on the ball. And this is exactly what the Cubs need. Another MVP for this series. Is Nico back? I hope so. He's starting to heat up. He put together a 2-hit game on Saturday, one of which was a 2-out RBI single in the 6th inning to really get that rally going. And of course, Ian Happ, who hit his 190th career home run as a Cub. Well, I don't even know why I didn't say on the Cubs. He's only ever played for the Cubs. He hit his 190th career home run on Saturday. That home run tied him with Hack Wilson for 11th in franchise history. The worst of the series, Alex Bregman. I don't want to say he did absolutely nothing because the sports is two-sided. There's offense and defense. Because his defense was there. He makes plays in the field. But offensively, his hitting is terrible. He should not. He's got to come out of the top 4. He should not be batting cleanup. He should not be batting second. He's got to come out of the top 4. Craig, make the decision. You drop PCA when he's struggling. You have no problem putting Dansby at 9. You have no problem dropping Nico. Alex got to drop too. He's hurting the team. He's hitting 204 over the 16-game hot stretch for the team. Even worse, the team is 12-4. in the last 16 games, and he's batting 204 in the top of the order. Come on, man. Even worse, he showed something I don't expect from him. A complete lack of hustle on a ground ball in the sixth inning on Saturday. The ball was bobbled, and if he had run hard, he would have easily made it safe. It was a terrible look for the leader of the clubhouse. Terrible look. He got subbed out of the game later, and they said it was wrist soreness, but Craig Counsell has seriously. But Craig, you seriously got to consider moving him out of the number 2 spot. It's time. On the pitching side, Ethan Roberts, boo. Nightmare weekend. He blew the game on Friday by immediately giving up that 2-run home run and triple. Then in the 10th inning on Sunday, he came in with a 4-1 lead. Just protect the 3-run cushion you got, bro. And instantly gave up a hit to Christian Yelich. Put the team in a massive hole before Jordan Wicks had to bail him out. Looking ahead, the Cubs win this series against Milwaukee. They come back home after a 6-1 road trip. That is big. That is big. They come back to Wrigley Field, come back to the friendly confines. Got the San Diego Padres 3-game set starting Monday, 7:05 first pitch. The Padres, we know them well. This is a big wild card implication series for both teams. Padres are 43-38. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. Shota Imanaga will take the mound on Monday. It's going to be a hot day. The wind's supposed to be blowing out. Not the best of circumstances for Shota, but I got faith in my boy. Chicago's will be very hot next week. I think it's going to be 90s every day until it starts to rain towards Thursday and Friday. The ball's going to be leaving the park a lot, so I'm putting my overs in now. To make matters worse, after the series with the Padres ends on Wednesday, the Cubs get a day off on Thursday, and then a big series with the St. Louis Cardinals for the holiday weekend. We're going to smoke them boys. I cannot wait to knock every feather off their ass. This team is 12-4 in the last 16 games. The Cubs are 28-8 in games where they hold the opponent to 3 or less. Jed and Carter, if you're going to get on the phones, all you need to do is find some guys that can keep the other team off home plate. Now, I know it's not saying much. Of course, you should win more games than you lose if you can keep the other team from scoring over 3. I guess you're not saying much. However, with the way this team is moving right now, you cannot be thinking about selling. You're going to have to add to this squad. They're playing like they still want to go for it. You got to match that energy. They're fighting through an absurd amount of pitching injuries. They just proved they can go into Milwaukee and punch them boys in the mouth. Because I'm tired of them hitting us and running away. Now, we punched them back. So let's make sure next time we see them, we packing more than just our fists. Let's add them. Let's add a knife. Let's add a blick. Let's do something. Let's get Wrigley Field rolling this week. Let's take care of business against San Diego, and let's make another big statement against the St. Louis Kardashians. We've been winning. We've been stacking W's a lot lately. Let's keep flying the W. Appreciate you tapping into this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Don't matter if you was watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everybody on the block, and hit the notification bell so you never miss none of our daily drops. And to all the guys from the shy, we say 3 things. Bear down, fly the W, and sell the team, Jerry.